The Caribbean is brought to you with the compliments of CIBC First Caribbean.
In regional news now, Jamaican Christopher Dudus Coke today pleaded guilty to charges of drugs and gun running. Coke pleaded guilty in a New York court to one count of trafficking in narcotics and firearm trafficking under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. He also pleaded guilty to one count of assault. He faces a maximum of 23 years in jail and will be sentenced on December 8th. Police in Trinidad and Tobago are reporting success from their daylight raids following the introduction of last week's curfew.
10 arrests and 18 tickets issued in just 1 hour along the John flyover heading into Port of Spain. Officers of the Bessemer Street CID, accompanied by the Stolen Vehicles Division, embarked on a routine roadblock as part of their patrols just after 5 on Tuesday afternoon. Among the 10 individuals detained by police, a number were held on outstanding warrants, while others for possession of narcotics and driving offences. Individuals clothed in army wear were also detained. Since the implementation of the curfew 1 week ago, officers say daytime transportation of narcotics and ammunition has increased, and operations like this are geared towards clamping down on the movement of arms and drugs. During the operation, officers also confiscated several curfew passes, which had been photocopied and were being used illegally. Taxi drivers and other motorists were issued tickets for minor driving offences. Having defective tires carries a ticket of $1,000. Numerous vehicles were impounded because drivers did not possess the proper class license. Officers of the Stolen Vehicles Division were able to recover at least one recently stolen vehicle, whose driver was detained for questioning. Few were spared during the police exercise as officers thoroughly searched individuals, their possessions and vehicles. Television personality Ian Allen's driver was also issued a ticket for his heavily tinted vehicle. The operation was headed by Inspector Singh, who says operations like this will continue during and after the state of emergency.
Police in Haiti have confirmed that they have freed a U.S. citizen who was kidnapped last week from his home after they surrounded the place where he was being held. Police said that Frank Jean-Baptiste was rescued by a special police squad at a house south of the capital. Head of Haiti's anti-kidnapping unit, Francois Dessous, said that the kidnappers fled the area before the police had arrived and that Jean-Baptiste was found unharmed and taken into custody to ensure his safety. The police said that the U.S. $300,000 ransom had not been paid. Jean-Baptiste, who is married to the director of a private school for the children of diplomats and wealthy Haitians, was seized last week at his home by men posing as employees of a package delivery service. At least one head of state and 3 CARICOM prime ministers will attend the inauguration of Sir Dennis Byron as the new president of the Trinidad and Tobago-based Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, tomorrow. Dominica's president, Dr. Nicholas Liverpool, as well as the prime minister of Belize, Dean Barrow, Antigua and Barbuda's prime minister, Baldwin Spencer, and the host prime minister, Dr. Denzel Douglas, who is also the CARICOM chairman, will attend the swearing-in ceremony. An official statement said that Sir Dennis, who replaces Trinidadian Michael de la Bastide as head of the CCJ, will be sworn in during a ceremony at Government House in the presence of Chief Justices of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Belize, and Trinidad. The event will also be witnessed by the Chancellor of the Judiciary in Guyana, attorneys general from several Caribbean countries, as well as judges, barristers, and family members.
Good evening, I'm Kent Jerson with the Business Report. As the Barbados Stock Exchange celebrates its 25th anniversary, Chairman Dr. Grenville Phillips has been reflecting on some of the challenges facing the market. He was speaking at a lecture and cocktail reception to mark the occasion at the Frank Coleman Hall last evening. Dr. Phillips identified one of the issues to be the local tax system, which allows debt financing to be treated more favorably than equity investment.
We continue to advocate for a policy that would encourage companies to raise capital on the exchange through equity investment, as our taxation policies still render it cheaper for the corporation to service debt obligations than equity investment, notwithstanding the risk factors associated with debt financing. Alas, we have often been told that the modification to the tax structure we seek is not in accordance with international best practice.
Dr. Phillips also laments that there are many markets and regulators operating in the relatively small CARICOM space. He says the model does not lend itself to efficiency or regulatory consistency.
In many cases, it forces discrimination among shareholders of a single entity purely on the basis of their domicile. Many of our businesses have developed from solely domestic companies to regional enterprises. Integration, consolidation, and regional harmonization of our institutions are a necessary adjunct. I go further. If we are serious, what about the concept of a CARICOM Companies Act?
Also at that event, we heard that the businesses listed on the Barbados Stock Exchange have benefited from going public. This assertion from Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Maxine McLean, even as she acknowledges that there is still some work to be done to encourage the investing culture in Barbados.
A study of the growth of companies currently listed on the stock exchange will see that many of them have been able to expand and diversify their capital and ownership bases as a result of going public. There has, however, been a reluctance by some to pursue the option of taking their companies public, and on the investor end, there's a need for wider involvement of the population. My recollection is that the board and management have sought to address both situations through ongoing public education and targeted contact with companies eligible for listing.
And staying with stocks, here's a summary of today's trading on some of the region's exchanges.
Good evening. Mixed weather conditions prevailed in Barbados. The maximum temperature was 31.2 degrees Celsius, the minimum 23 degrees. At 6 o'clock, the temperature stood at 28.7 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 74%, and the winds coming in from the east-southeast at 13 kilometers per hour. We take a look now at our satellite photo where we have Tropical Storm Katia. It's located at about 14 degrees north, 40 degrees west. It's 1,200 miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles, moving towards the west-northwest, maximum sustained winds 65 miles per hour. Now, the system is expected to move just north of the Lesser Antilles by weekend, and we'll continue to monitor that system. We'll put the loop now in motion to see what happened today, and the high-pressure ridge was the dominant feature over the leewards and northern windwards, generating mainly fair conditions there, just a few passing showers. As for us here in Barbados and the southern windwards, while we came under the influence of a trough system and the intertropical convergence zone. As a result, in Barbados, we had some overnight showers measuring 5.5 millimeters. The seas at this time, they're slight to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. Over now in the Western Caribbean, we have the tail end of a frontal system along with a trough system and a tropical wave generating wet conditions. We're talking about showers and isolated thunderstorms over sections of the Bahamas, Cuba and Jamaica. Elsewhere experienced partly cloudy skies. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tonight and tomorrow, we're expecting the tropical wave to move further towards the west over into the Gulf of Mexico, leaving just a few brief showers over most of the islands of the Western Caribbean. For us here, though, in the Eastern Caribbean, that trough system which has been affecting us here in Barbados and the southern islands will pull some moisture towards the north, generating showers mainly over the leeward islands. As for us here in Barbados, we can expect some overnight showers into early tomorrow morning. Thereafter, mostly sunny skies are expected. And we move now to the 4-day forecast. Come tomorrow, we're expecting mostly sunny skies. On Friday, fair to partly cloudy. On Saturday, it will be mostly sunny and warm. And on Sunday, fair to partly cloudy. The sun is expected to rise at 5:47 and set at 10 minutes after 6. The first high tide at 4 minutes to 6 in the morning, low tide at 11:43 a.m. The sea is slight to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. The winds coming in from the east to the southeast at 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Barbados tonight will be partly cloudy with some scattered showers. Come tomorrow, after a few early morning showers, it will be mostly sunny. And we leave you now with some forecast weather conditions.